let's go ahead. Get to our next topic. We'll have Stash lead this one since Eric's still working on that list over there.
I'm getting close.
Yeah. Well,
Cool.
perfect. So Stash, what are we talking about here?
Yeah. So I was actually talking about this on Twitter today. It was interesting. Nate posted it, and I said I think this is worth a bookmark. Quite frankly, it's not much. It's just a bookmark, just so I can come back to it in case anything comes to fruition. How serious am I taking it? I don't know. But the idea of it is very interesting. And if you guys are familiar with Newegg.
Yeah.
I bought all my components from them back 10 years ago when I
still
built one of my PCs.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they were selling, and I'm actually gonna pull up I want to get the tweet pulled up too, but they're selling a Nintendo gift card.
Oh, yeah.
Just your standard gift card.
Mm-hmm.
And in the actual text message, they're like, hey, in 2025, Nintendo's releasing a 3D Mario, Pokemon, Za. What else was on there? It was all the games we know, Mario Kart.
Yeah, Metroid Prime 4.
Metroid Prime 4, yeah. Thanks, Nate.
Xenoblade.
Okay. Now, as I was saying in chat too, as you can see there, certainly worth a bookmark there in the bottom right.
Yeah.
But we're kind of chatting back and forth about it. There's one game that stands out quite clearly, actually. And there's one game that on that list that we're not aware of, and that's a Legend of Zelda remake or remaster. It says remake/remaster for 2025.
Yeah.
And again, none of us.
There you go.
That is not an active rumor.
Thank you, Nate.
That's brand new. So all these other games, though, are for sure. Now, here's the kicker. Okay.
Kick it.
Is that Newegg updated the post. They updated the listing and they removed all of these games, right? Except for Mario, I think, except for what? Metroid Prime and Pokemon?
Yeah.
I think they left Xenoblade too.
And Xenoblade. Yeah. Okay. So they removed the other games, which, as we know, dude, that's a classic backpedal.
Oh, yeah.
Like hard. Like for you to do that, it's very likely there's some truth there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they just didn't think the internet would see this or what, but it's very clear that the thing that sticks out is Zelda, because we know about the rest. So with that said, I mean, what do we think about a Zelda remake or remaster? Okay. And I will say this too. It was in my message that I had sent to him, but I mentioned that I was chatting with someone and they said, Breath of the Wild, right? And it's like, yeah, but what if that's part of like a broader strategy?
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door. 4K is in the code. Okay. I expect it to run in 4K on Switch too. I do. I truly expect it. Now, do I expect them to update the box art and slap a remaster on the label? Now it's remastered twice? No, absolutely not. Breath of the Wild. Do I expect them to say it's remastered now? No, actually, I really don't. I don't expect that. I expect that to be a perk and a major selling point of the Switch 2. And I think we'll find out more on April 2nd. I think that's part of the magic. But 4K 60, Breath of the Wild, I expect this to happen. So in my mind, Breath of the Wild is ruled out as one of the remake remasters.
Agreed.
Okay, good. So we're all on the same page. What does that give us, guys? I mean, what 3D games are remaining, and you also know what 2D games could be. But I don't know. Do you think the Switch 2's first Zelda game is going to be a 2D remake?
No.
I feel like they want to make it a 3D one.
So can I take this one?
Yeah, take over now. Let's hear it.
Just because this is the other part of my answer. Remember saying it?
Yeah, from earlier.
So that's why I said Wind Waker, Nintendo Switch. Why? You really can't do much with Wind Waker because of the art style. I think HD is as good as it can get. Of course, when it gets to a Nintendo Switch 2, then the hardware will do the rest, right? It'll do the rest, pick up, and it'll just beautiful. But the game that could get a remaster, just like they did with Metro Prime 1 Prime Remaster, right? Meaning they take the assets, they throw them out the door, they bring new assets into the same engine to make it look crisper, nicer, better, is Twilight Princess. Okay? So if it's not that they want to do a Twilight Princess, they keep them like a bundle. They want to bring, I feel they're going to take Metroid Prime, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, Nintendo Switch HD, Twilight Princess. They're going to remaster the heck out of it and then put it on Nintendo Switch 2. That one has the most potential of looking better and really highlighting the new graphics of the new system and the power of the new system. You know, I hear a lot of people saying, well, that game looks, the Twilight Princess looks beautiful with the wolf and everything and all the whatever. Imagine that remastered. I don't think it's a remake, it's a remaster, right? And so, yeah, to me, that's the Zelda one they're talking about. I think it's Twilight Princess remaster on Nintendo Switch 2 in 4.5K resolution.
So you think it's just resolution? Are we're gonna get 60 FPS?
I think so. Yeah. I think they're gonna use the game to, at least at the beginning, because until they release the new, like, think about it. What other game right now, besides Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, what other 3D game could they work on to really enhance and show the power of the Switch 2 on, right? Twilight Princess. I mean, the other one is what's the other one? I just beat it.
Wind Waker,
Skyward Sword, right? I just beat that game. That game looks fantastic on Nintendo Switch, right? Skyward Sword is about what, 2-3 years old only, right?
2021.
Yeah. Are you looking for a remaster or a remake, Nate? Remaster? Well, you're a Zelda guy. Go ahead.
So look, obviously, they were talking about games this year. I think there's only one Zelda remake or remaster coming regardless. I don't think there's one per platform.
You mean like Ocarina of Time?
So if it's Wind Waker, then it's just going to be Wind Waker. That'll be the only thing we get this year for Zelda.
Yeah.
But if it is Switch 2, as Game Boy Classic keeps holding up, Ocarina of Time, that needs it more than Twilight Princess does. And the thing with Ocarina of Time, I know it was redone on 3DS, is that it's never been in HD. Let's start with that. It's never been in HD. You have to do that before you can do Majora's Mask. And the other thing is, and I'm not going to go over all of this. I have multiple videos on my channel about this. Andres Restart does as well. Aonuma's kind of been teasing Ocarina of Time for years now, which is very similar to how he's teased every other remake and remaster they've done. So, it seems like something is in the works. Whether or not it's this year, that is an unknown. It could be something that's more closer to when the Zelda movie comes out next year, the year after. That could be maybe the plan for it as a big between. Because I know Nintendo. Nintendo saw what Zelda did on Switch. They're going to want some big 3D remake early years of Switch 1.
Yeah.
So the new 3D Zelda is going to be a little bit off. They're going to want something.
Yeah.
And so I think an Ocarina of Time is the second best, or well, the fourth best selling Zelda game of all time. It used to be second best before Breath of the Wild. And it was only behind Twilight Princess, which took a console selling 100 million units to beat it.
Okay.
It was the best selling on just the N64 with a 35 million install base. Crazy. So Ocarina of Time has never been in the mass audience before. And it's an all-time classic. and it's got all that. Imagine all that music redone, fully orchestrated by Nintendo. How glorious that would be! The atmospheric nature of all the dungeons and how great those dungeons are. Like being able to maybe even expand a little bit on some little aspects here and there. Like there's like a part of the Hyrule map that feels like there was supposed to be something there, but it got cut at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe they fill that out and add in like a little bit extra bonus content. Obviously, there's all the stuff with the master modes. Maybe we get the true originally intended master mode instead of what they ended up doing on 3DS. And so like there's a whole bunch of stuff they could do with that. And I know it's an all-time classic, and you got to be really careful when you take literally the highest rated video game of all time. You got to be a little careful when you grab that and remake it, because you can't screw that up. This can't be something that you fully outsource.
Yeah.
Nintendo would have to be hands-on. You can have a company help like Bandai Namco or something, but you're going to have your team involved on it to make sure it's done right. And I think Nintendo has extra incentive because they saw Final Fantasy VII Remake go first.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and look at the Resident Evil remakes and how
Evil remakes as well. Look what they're doing.
And man, this one's a little bit more. I'm with you, Nate. I feel like Ocarina is the game for this. You know, before Breath of the Wild hit the scene, and I know Twilight Princess sold better than Ocarina of Time, but before Breath of the Wild hit the scene, Ocarina of Time was the standard for Zelda fans. A lot of them loved Twilight Princess. Not everyone. There's a lot of people who don't like Twilight Princess very much. Ocarina is universally, for the most part, loved and revered as one of the most iconic or influential games ever made.
One of the coolest moments in gaming, going from child to adult.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Imagine a whole generation that's never experienced that. Oh.
And being lucky to experience that with the jump of, I mean, I think A Link to the Past is a perfect game as well.
So do I.
But seeing that jump into the 3D world with a mount and stuff and riding horseback across this 3D plane, the game's just wild.
It's a core memory.
So, yeah.
Thunderstash, I need that shirt. Second, because it said remaster remake, right? That post. I went on the side of a remaster, right? So if remaster, of course, I don't see Ocarina of Time remastered.
No, they gotta remake that.
If that's a game, they have to Final Fantasy it. You know what I mean? Like they have to really from the ground up, brand new game, expand the world. You know, make it bigger than it is. You know what I mean?
And they would be quicker to make than their new open world games. I don't think it would go full open world. I think they'd stick with the linearity.
Yeah.
But maybe they'll let you do some of the dungeons a little out of order because you already could sort of do that, even though you were kind of glitching. But
they need to do it like Capcom did for RE, where they didn't fully reimagine the games. It's debate. Obviously, a lot of people have complaints about RE3 remake, but you know, keep the essence of what the game is and just improve it, make it beautiful, improve the voice acting performances, update the story a little bit to be a little bit more meaty and substantial.
Sure.
And Zelda's a lot bigger now. The Switch has made Zelda, it's expanded its audience greatly. Maybe that means, I know this sounds unlikely, but maybe they do a Ocarina of Time remake. It's really successful. They're like, hey, Capcom's had success. Let's do Majora's Mask now. That sounds a little bit far-fetched, but you never know.
Well, once Ocarina of Time is done, I think Majora's Mask is just that next natural. It might be later in the gen. It might be after.
But what if
I will die? What if it's a glorious remake of that?
What if it's a DLC addition to it, like a story add-on to it, and you know,
They could do that.
One thing I can see them doing, one reason why I can see them going with Ocarina of Time remake is because maybe in the live action movie of Zelda, they'll probably have a version of Link as a child, and they want to go ahead and kind of maybe go somewhere within the line of Ocarina of Time for the story, and so they want people to have some kind of at least new fans of the Legend of Zelda in the modern era has some type of familiarity with the franchise when they showed it in the movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters that were popularized with Ocarina of Time that sure we know today. But like I sat there as we were playing Tears of the Kingdom. I was playing it on live stream, and you meet Rauru, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm like, oh guys, you have no idea what this calls back to. And like people in the chat were like, who the fuck is Rauru? I'm like, oh my god, people don't even know what this is a reference to. Like the importance of that name in Zelda, you don't even know. So like, I was a lot of younger fans that just got into Zelda with Breath of the Wild, or even adults that didn't get into Zelda till Breath of the Wild that just don't even know the rich history. And like Ocarina of Time is one of those games that's full of that rich history with some of these core characters to the series.
Yep.
They're
so good.
So like,
bosses are memorable.
Yeah. Like by the way, obviously there's some hope. I'm hoping that that's the one they do. I think Wind Waker is probably the most likely this year, but they're still kind of like, hey, I can't dismiss the fact that Aonuma has been teasing this in the same way. He literally was asked directly about it in an interview, and he wouldn't deny it.
We can't rule out that a lot of the games that they mentioned in the April Direct will be for 2026 too. So maybe we get we get some type of a teaser trailer, and then that's a 2026 game.
Well, I mean, as an example, like some people think the 3D Mario game, which by the way, we haven't really talked about because technically not announced. We just assume it's coming because it's been forever.
Yeah.
Some people think that might come out closer to the Mario movie, which would then make it 2026. But I don't think anybody thinks it won't be shown this year.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So like, some of the stuff in that April stuff might be the whole first year roadmap, the first 12 months. Mm-hmm. So we might have stuff all the way up till June next year, which is totally fine, by the way. I like when Nintendo gives us the long roadmap. Because there's going to be future directs still. They're going to give us even more. Third parties are going to be making announcements like crazy. I mean, look, Summer Game Fest this year, Switch 2 logos are going to be everywhere. Like we've been streaming Summer Game Fest on my channel every year. Imagine how exciting it's going to be this year when like Switch 2 logos are on like every goddamn trailer.
Hey, it can start tomorrow at the Xbox presentation.
Yeah, could be as soon as tomorrow.
Yeah,
might see our first Switch 2 logo on a third party trailer.
Yeah,
I'll be watching.
Can I pitch something real quick?
Pitch it.
This is what I envision if we get that Ocarina of Time remake for Switch 2 as the perfect tease, end of direct tease for this game. We have one more announcement. Screen's black. You start hearing the sound of horse hooves. Then the piano kicks in, and it's just like 10 seconds of that opening screen in beautiful HD 4K ray tracing with gorgeous piano, and then it's the Ocarina of Time remake coming to the Nintendo Switch 2. That's all they need to show to get the welled up eyes, nostalgia, and just
all the fans the world over would be pausing the direct and being like, did that just fucking happen?
Yep, I would.
That's my perfect Ocarina of Time remake tease.
All right, that's assuming obviously that we're hoping that happens. Andrew, what do you think for Zelda Remake Remaster? If there's one, what is it?
Were we talking about this thing coming out this year? Because if we are, I mean, I'm going to bring us down from the clouds a little.
What do you know?
I'm looking at the listing. It does say 2025 games on Newegg.
Right.
It does. Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
And I actually think a lot of what you guys said is going to happen. But I think if it's going to be something that big, it's not going to be this year. But I definitely think it's like for the first direct of a system, they're gonna. This is gonna be one of the few, directs where they announce stuff. I think years out. I think they're not. They don't want to do another Metroid Prime 4 at the Switch E3 in 2017. But they can do things that are 2 to 3 years out. I don't know. I think I just as I was listening to you guys, like I just forgot like how recently Echoes of Wisdom came out. I know it doesn't totally cut a chance or doesn't totally eliminate a Zelda game coming out this year of a port or whatever, but I definitely think it bumps down the likeliness a little. I don't know, my excitement's high, but like my expectations are kind of lowering of what's happening this year Zelda wise. But hopefully we'll see.
Okay. All right. We're gonna wrap it up there. We're gonna talk a little bit about 3D Mario, or are we just gonna be like,
again, I feel like what you guys have said is what I'm thinking. I'm trying to think of anything new, but I'm totally on board with 3D Mario this year. I mean, they could always pull the rug out from under us, and Wii U, we didn't get a full single player 3D Mario. I mean, we got 3D World, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
we didn't get a full 3D new Zelda game during the Wii U. I doubt that's gonna happen with Switch 2, but like that's the only reason I think that it wouldn't happen right away. Is maybe they need more time for whatever reason. What was that?
You just don't like Cat Mario.
I think.
I love Cat Mario.
we're 100% getting 3D Mario this year. It's Mario's 40th.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Like, oh, delay it for the movie. I'm like, I don't know, man. It is the 40th this year.
No reason to delay it. Just get all the sales
title
and then do it again next year.
Yeah.
And they didn't do any timing with the last movie in a game. They just saw all their past games go up in sales.
Yeah, that's for the 90s. That's what happened in the 90s, man. You know, Jurassic Park comes out in theaters and then it hits Sega Genesis.
Yeah. They gotta drop it this holiday because one, it would be a huge seller for the holidays, just like Odyssey was. And then it's going to get a second sales boost when the movie hits.
Yeah.
Double whammy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually better.
More bang for your buck.
Yeah, it's actually better
marketing.
if they let there be a gap between when it comes out and the movie hits. So I think it's got to be this year on the holidays. I think we definitely are seeing it on April 2nd for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even get a name for it, like because this is their blowout. Like I think it's going to be a blowout. So I think we're gonna get game names and everything. But we'll talk more about obviously that direct the closer we get to it. Predictions, because I'm sure there'll be some leaks and stuff for that down the line. There is for every direct. So we'll get to predictions and stuff for that later. If we think it's going to be a huge blowout, like is it going to end up being 40 minutes or is it going to be like 2 hours? I see people go, this is going to be a 2-hour direct. I'm like, I mean, you're basing it off the Switch presentation. I get it, but they didn't call that a direct. I don't know that it's going to be 2 hours, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Let me throw this out there real quick.
Sure.
Just about that list on Newegg. So I think what lends a little bit of credence to it is the fact that we know all those games are coming out. Like we're confident. I don't want to speak for everyone, but I am 100% confident all these games are obviously coming, right? They're coming. They're coming this year. 3D Mario, Metroid, yes. Mario Kart launch, Xenoblade, it's already dated, and Pokemon. Everything's coming. Like there's they're all confirmed. The only thing that's not that we had no news about is Zelda. So that's why I think seeing this is very interesting because everything we know is 100% except for Zelda. So like, I just feel like, why would you put that in there?
It's funny because the only thing there with a date is Xenoblade Chronicles X. Everything else is this
2025.
2025.
And then why would you remove it?
Yeah.
Well, because it got attention.
Exactly.
That remaster, man. That remaster.
Yeah, they probably got a little email from Nintendo. Hey, what are you doing? Take that listing down, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, they took it down.
It's very interesting. And again, I don't think Wind Waker comes out on Switch 2.
Yeah.
That is not a game that needs Switch 2 hardware. Yep. It's perfect for Switch 1. It's aged perfectly. We don't need anything else outside of the HD unless they want to, give us some extra stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
That's where I'm at. I just want to mention that again. That
I agree.
That
Absolutely.
this is very interesting. It's worth bookmarking.